Cash Cow back with another video, guys. Today I'm hitting you with 6 comics. 6 of one of your favorite anti-hero females. This should be interesting. Now, let me jump into this biography real quick, and then I'm going to hit you with those 6 comics of this character. Today we doing Elektra. Alright? Let's get into it. Now, as everybody knows of Elektra's past history, she has been a villainous adversary, a love interest, and a heroic ally to Daredevil. Their story seems to tie in pretty well, and her first appearance is in Daredevil's first series, so kind of ironic, right? With that being said, guys, this character is a highly trained assassin of Greek descent who wields a pair of like those, what they call them, I want to say sai, but they're basically like the same swords that Raphael from the Ninja Turtles has. She wields those, and she's pretty good with those. But let's take it way back in time, right? She was born on a Greek island near the Aegean Sea to Hugo and Christina. Nah, I can't say her last name. God forgive me. Nachios. That's what we're gonna go with today. Excuse me if it's wrong, but today we going with Nachios. I never knew how to pronounce her last name, not off the bat. But she also has an older brother named Orestes. So she has 2 different stories that kind of ties in. One is Christina, her mother, is killed by assassins hired by Orestes. The other is she is killed by insurrectionists during a Greek civil war. But they all tie into the fact that she is born premature just before she dies. This is her mother's backstory. Both stories end the same. So she never gets that relationship with her mother, right? So when she was 9 years old, Elektra was assaulted by kidnappers, and the men were killed by Orestes, who was a martial artist at the time. That's what he became after he left home. Orestes convinced Hugo, which is her father, to hire a sensei to train her in martial arts. Hugo became a Greek ambassador also later on in life to the United States. So by the time Elektra is 19 years old, she attends Columbia University in New York. That is when she begins dating Matt Murdock, your boy Daredevil. All right? So that story comes into play. A year later, Elektra and Hugo were kidnapped by terrorists. Matt Murdock attempted to rescue them, but it went wrong, and Hugo, her father, was shot and killed. This is what changed her completely, which is crazy because you would think is going through that much as a child with your mom being either killed by insurrectionists, being killed by your brother hiring assassins. Either story that, if it makes sense to you guys, you would think that would kind of give you a jaded view of life, right? And also being kidnapped when you're 9 years old. Like, you already been through a lot of traumatic events, right? But, no. This is what changed her. So she lost faith and hope in, the world, society, how things go. And that eventually led her to quit college and return to China to study martial arts. that is where she met the famous sensei Stick. Stick, he at the time recognized the darkness in Elektra, tried to train her himself, but ultimately she sided with the Hand, which the Hand is a set of mystical ninjas who are trained as assassins, and they trained her as an assassin. That's how it went, right? The story is crazy when you stop and just read everything, because it's like she went through so much trauma. By the time she was an adult, she was already like, it's like trouble just found her no matter what. And I'm like, good Lord, like she couldn't catch a break to save her life. God bless her. Now, with that being said, guys, let's hop into these comics, all right? And with the first one, we got Elektra #1, right? Hopefully you guys can see that. Can you guys see that? That glare on that ain't too bad. This is 1996. This is her first ongoing series. She has a first solo limited series, but this is her first ongoing series. This comic is pretty cheap right now. But this is one that's a pretty cheap spec. I don't know if it'll break the bank one day, but it's, hey, you can get in on the ground, and maybe it goes to the ceiling. Who knows? But that's one worth worrying about, all right? Now the next one is Elektra Assassins #1. This is in 1986. This is our first solo title series. This is also the first appearance of the Beast of the Hand, and it's an origin story of Elektra as well. That is another one that's flying on the radar. And when I tell you guys, when those first appearances get hot and extremely hot, the next thing people go after is either their #1 or their second appearance or a real valuable origin story. This one is, if anything, if I had a choice to choose between these, me personally, I probably would get that one. But this one ain't bad either. You ain't losing out on either one, all right? So next, we got Daredevil #176, which happens to be the first appearance of Stick, which is a sensei, the sensei who trained her in the form of martial arts, helped her sharpen her skills and become what she is today. Stick, as you guys know, he's blind himself, but he's definitely that dude when it comes to senseis. He knows what he's doing. Unfortunately, his methods of trying to train her to kind of keep the darkness at bay did not work. Like, let's just be honest, it didn't work. But he tried. He gave it definitely a hell of a baseball swing. He took his cut. But hey, she ended up siding with the Hand at the end. So the Hand had more influence, and he, not knowing that why she had all this darkness inside is because what she went through her childhood, through her adolescence, and when she became an adult. She basically had no parents. In one story, her brother has her mom murdered. It's just like she went through a lot, right? All right, like, let's just be real with that. She went through hell and back. All right, next, we got Daredevil #174, which happens to be the third overall appearance of Elektra and the first team appearance of the Hand. This is when the Hand is finally introduced. Daredevil 174, but it's her third appearance as well. So if you pick this, you picking up the slack, because as they get farther on and when they finally put out this Daredevil series again, they have to revisit the Hand. You have to have the Hand to do the story completely of Daredevil and Elektra. And Elektra is a big part of Daredevil's story. So it makes sense to put her in it. All right. Now, with that being said, do have uh we do have honorable mentions. And I think the honorable mention is Daredevil number 180, which happens to be the death of Elektra. That's when Bullseye kills her. Minor Key doesn't, but it's the death of her. And then Daredevil number 182, that's an iconic Frank Miller cover. But the most important one is Comics Journal number 58. That actually technically is the first sketch appearance of Elektra. So it's a magazine though, so people don't really tend to go after it, but it's one that if they put Elektra back, not with this new Deadpool bringing back Jennifer Garner or whatever, not that mess, but bringing out a new Elektra to play in the new revamped Daredevil series, that comic's definitely gonna see some gains. Comics Journal number 58. I think that's it. But those are my 3 honorable mentions, alright? Now next, we got Daredevil number 169, which happens to be the second appearance of Elektra. Now this one's not a bad pickup. Alright? This one's doing pretty well for itself. It's one that the cover's nice. You got Bullseye on there. Bullseye's definitely directly tied to Elektra's death and the story. Like, they go back and forth for a minute. But this is our second appearance, guys. And last but not least, of course, you see the top loader. We have Daredevil number 168, which happens to be the first appearance and origin of Elektra, and the first cameo appearance of Robert Goldie Goldman. Alright? But if you pay attention, right, you see up there, hopefully you guys can see that. It's iconic also because they spell Elektra wrong on the front cover. So they spell it Elektra. And that's not the way you spell Elektra. But at that time, yeah, it is what it is. But this is the one that's truly highly sought after when you're trying to really get to know Elektra, the character. This is the one that the market determines as the first really first appearance. To them, nobody really worries about Comics Journal number 58, because it is a sketch of Elektra. But this is the one, if you got one to pick and you got enough money to invest on one book for this character, try to get this one. You can't go wrong with the second appearance either, right? With that being said, guys, this is Cash Cow, another video. We're talking about our girl Elektra. I'm hoping and I'm pretty sure when they put her in this new series, they're going to do her justice. Because even in the Netflix series, in the Defenders and in the Daredevil series, the person they got to play her then was excellent. That was good, stellar casting and good acting, really brought some life back to this book. And if they can hit it again with Disney Plus, fingers crossed, because how they've been putting out stuff lately. Ugh. Well, they do have, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was good, Ant-Man wasn't bad either. But I like Ant-Man, so don't, everybody don't like Ant-Man. I like Ant-Man, though. I know, But anyway, this concludes my video. Cash Cow out, coming to you with another weekly video. Guys, I'm pumped. I got a Comic-Con I'm going to this Sunday. I can't wait to see what's there, what's available. I can come back, show you guys what I picked up on. Man, it's gonna be nice. We talking about hitting. But anyway, with that being said, guys, I'm out. You guys be safe. Let me know in the comment section. Are you guys wanting to read or find out more about Elektra? Or you're like, yeah, been there, done that. I don't think it could go any higher. It ain't really a character worth investing in. Alright? And I'm out.